Hey everybody, this is DM Mike, and this is the next album recommendation for your fantasy campaign. Now today's album's a little tricky to recommend, mainly because it's not available. It's really, really hard to find. And I guess one would ask, well, why even recommend it? Well, yeah, you may have other sources to go to that you could find it. You may have Pandora that would stream it, or other streaming services that actually might have the soundtrack available to you. So I don't want to just throw it out because it actually is a really, really good soundtrack. But this soundtrack here is Cameo. I don't want to put it up to the camera because last time I did this, my camera did not unfocus, and I'm like on my 11th take right now. But Cameo, Elements of Power, that came out for Xbox 360, I think about 2010. Now, of course, I have a physical copy because I bought it 9 years ago. I had actually stumbled into a Best Buy, not stumbled in, I walked perfectly fine into the Best Buy, but picked up the soundtrack at the time, and it was a blind buy. And this is when soundtracks were starting to come out a little bit more, but they were still kind of hard to find, and it turned out to be great. Really, really great. Again, it's done by, in case I didn't say, Steve Burke, and it released in 2010. And there's two main things, main thematic feelings that run through this album. First of all, it has a lot of marching music, which I think is really, really great. And that can be used in a lot of thematic ways. And two, this is an album that I think is very good for anybody who's running any kind of mythological or folk tale, folklore, or let's say kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, fairy tale type story. This just has that feeling to it and work really, really well if you're running that type of adventure. Now, this has got 27 tracks on it, if you can find it, and I'm going to go ahead and cherry pick just a few off of here. Not all of them. It's going to probably sound like all of them, but, maybe half of them that might work really, really well for your, various scenarios. Now, this is going to jump all over the place because this is just how I do crap. But I'm going to go ahead and, first of all, let's talk about the action music. I think there's more on the album, but I only really narrowed it down to two. And the action music is tracks number 23 and 26. And track number 26 in particular is really, really good for that final climactic battle. Whether it's, you want to end your night with it or whatnot, or it's the last few moments of a battle, really, really good for that. Next up, what I call kind of cliffhanger moments, right? Music for cliffhangers. These things only last maybe 20 to 55 seconds, right? And you want to use these right at the end of a scene, whether a character or, NPC is revealing something, or the enemy shows up, that kind of thing, right? These are the tracks for those. Number 20, number 25, number 12, 2, and 10. That's about 5 tracks. And those are all, I think, about 50 seconds or under. And they're really, really good stuff. I use a lot of that kind of stuff in radio dramas, and it works really, really well. Track number 3, I kind of cherry picked this one because I felt like it was a really good intro music for like a mining facility, where maybe a bunch of dwarves are mining away, or for some reason in my head, I saw a bunch of gnomes. Maybe it's a little more comedic, but I saw a lot of gnomes mining. It would be a really good setup music for that kind of environment. Now the marching music, there's I think 4 tracks here that I've got. Number 5, number 13, number 24, and number 21. Great for large armies just marching across the plains or wherever you want to put them. Matter of fact, track number 21 is my favorite, and I used this in Rage of Demons when I ran it for Adventures League and had all the characters. I started the adventure with this music. It was a live cutscene, and I had all the characters stripped down, branded, washed, weapons taken away, and thrown into prison cells as huge numbers of drow were marching past. And if you've played Rage of Demons or know anything about it, you actually start out as a prisoner in that campaign. You're actually already in this jail cell. That's weird. That's a weird thing to say. But they were already there, and I just felt like, hey, let's back that up just a little bit and do a whole marching thing as they're being stripped down. I don't know. It was kind of fun. It's always fun stripping characters.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Track number 6. I picked this up because it's just kind of like this. It's a track that you could use for an intimate moment between a character and an NPC. What the context of that is, I don't know, but it just has a soft melody to it, and it'd be perfect for that kind of situation. Now, here are my 2 favorite tracks. I use these quite a bit. Matter of fact, I'm very selective with them, but track number 8 and 18, these are comedy tracks. And I've usually used these when I have a very kind of eccentric, unique character that I introduced to the campaign. Again, I used this on a night where I was doing Adventures League, and I think I used track number 18 in particular, and I'm maybe I'll put a little shot up here This guy's name was Number 22. He was a construct, and he was always carrying around a plate of biscuits. I don't know, it's just what he did. He was a robot. And so the characters were first introduced to him, and I had this music playing in the background. And when you have that kind of stuff going, it just creates a little bit of charm. And I find that players become more connected to the character when they have their almost theme music playing with them. So track number 8 and 18 are really, really great for that. I love those 2 tracks. They play really well with your kind of comedy relief, eccentric characters. Track number 17 is another one I would also use for a smaller, intimate moment between a character or another character, or an NPC, another character. Most likely that's what's going to happen. Going back to track number 6 too, this is also, I think, a good spot, maybe even this track number 17 as well, for character to meet like some kind of pixie or something kind of a fairy tale creature in a forest. It just has a toy box kind of feel to it. I think it would work really, really well for that kind of situation. So, track number 6 and 17 are up there for those smaller, intimate moments in your sessions. And finally, track number 11, these are all over the place, I know. Track number 11, Enemy Armies Prepping for War. It's a great soundtrack, or a great thematic piece for that. So as you can see, we're kind of all over the place here with today's soundtrack. And of course, there's much more on here. There's other things that I would recommend as well, but I didn't want to, dissect the entire album. Got to leave room for you as the DM, to come up with ideas for this music as well. So anyway, guys, that is it for this week. It is, again, Cameo. Guys, maybe you'll find it. Maybe you got places you can go to find this soundtrack. Again, maybe it's on YouTube, maybe it's on Pandora, maybe it's on other streaming services that I don't use and don't know anything about. So, but if you can find it, pick it up. Trust me, you'll be using it often. All right, guys, I will see you again next week for the next album, and I have no clue what that is, but I'm sure I'll find out soon. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one.